And here we begin. In this episode, we will run through the first Adhigaram from Aram, which is also the first Adhigaram of Thirukural. This comes under the subcategory called Pairam, for which the most appropriate English equivalent can be prologue or foreword. Pairam sets the tone for the rest of the literature, and Thiruvalluvar began the script with the first episode with the name Worship, which in Tamil is called Valibadu. This chapter, like all other chapters, has 10 kurals under its headings. Now, hearing the word worship, many of you may recall that Tirukural is allegedly a secular literature, and the work starts with the first Adhikaram starts with worship. So, worship need not always be referring to a connection with an entity called God or a religion. It can also be towards a person, a mentor, a role model, or a leader. They can also be worshipped. So, Tiruvalluvar was simply brilliant in taking much caution not to be indicative of any particular deity or god in these 10 kurals. Of course, it has words like Adi Bhagavan, Valarivan, Iraivan, etc., which are very generic terms that can be attributed to any god or to any person of prime importance, depending on the orientation of the reader. For example, a Christian can relate the term Iraivan to Lord Almighty, while a Muslim can still relate the same word to Allah, and Hindu to any god of his choice, and an agnostic or an atheist can still relate the context to a learned person or a virtuous role model or a leader or a mentor. So let's start reviewing one by one the 10 kurals. The first kural says that how a language sprouts from its first letter, likewise, the world springs from the prime principle, which is called God for those who believe in it, and those who do not believe in it, they can take it likewise. The society or a nation or a country springs from one person who has an ideology, a leader. So the second Kural says that even if a person is well read, his knowledge has no use if he cannot respect someone who is better than him or cannot respect God, who is considered to be the source of all knowledge. The third Kural says that the fame of a person who follows the path of the pure hearted God or of a pure hearted mentor will stay for many years. The fourth says that no harm will befall a person who associates himself with God or a mentor or leader who are above and beyond likes and dislikes. The fifth Kural says that a person who devotes himself to the philosophy of God or a virtuous person will approach both good and bad situations in the same mindset. That is, they don't jump to the sky when something good happens to them, nor do they get depressed when something unfavorable happens to them. The sixth Kural says that if a person is as disciplined and good willed as a god, or as disciplined like an acclaimed scholar or leader, they will have a long, fulfilling life. The seventh Kural says that only those who surrender themselves to a power beyond themselves or their own capacity alone can overcome heartbreak. The eighth Kural says that only those who walk in the path of virtue defined by God or a virtuous elder can swim through the sea of life. The ninth Kural compares the futility of a person who disrespects elder or God to that of a corpse. The 10th Kural declares that only those who follow a leader or God can sail through life without any problems. Of these 10 Kurals, my personal favorite is the 7th Kural. In Tamil, it reads as தனக்குவமை இல்லாதான் தாள் சேர்ந்தார் கல்லால் மனக்கவலை மாற்றல் அரிது. Let's take a closer look on this Kural. Every living person under the sun has problems. Every one of us are faced with worry at some point of life. A lot of us are depressed, and a lot of us are depressed beyond anyone's wildest guess. Now, who can overcome worry? Who can overcome grief? Who can pull themselves out of depression? Who can heal themselves of a heartbreak? One who has held on to the foot of God, or in other terms, one who has the holding of a mentor who is of no match to his good qualities. There are few people, a very handful of them in this world, who doesn't need anyone's support to come out of bad situations in their life. But those are exemptions, and exemptions are not examples. Even for them to be mentally super strong, to have reached the position they have reached, they should have learned it either from someone similar to them, or they should have learned it from a book, probably, which loops back to the original meaning of this kural. So, to sum it up, if you want to heal heartbreak, come out of depression, or chase worry, place your belief on God so that you learn to let go of things and gain the maturity to come out as a stronger person. Or find a mentor who can support you through your tough times and teach you to come out of depression or heartbreak. For those who doesn't have either of these, it is very difficult. He doesn't say that it is not possible at all. It is very difficult for someone who doesn't believe either in God or doesn't have a mentor who can support them and groom them through their tough times to come out of heartbreak. So this is my favorite kural out of this first chapter. We will meet in our next episode soon. So until then, stay curious and stay connected.